Imagine a virus so deadly it turns people into monsters in seconds, and the only way to survive is watching your own mother get shot in the head while you hide beneath a car. This is how one girl's world ends and her fight for survival begins. At the beginning, we see a young boy watching cartoons when suddenly the signal cuts off and an emergency broadcast announces that a poisonous virus has spread across the entire world, turning infected people into violent zombie-like creatures within minutes. Everyone listening should find a safe place immediately. The boy hears a strange sound upstairs and goes up to investigate, only to discover it was just his older sister Abigail playing a prank. The two children go to their mother's room and find her deeply worried, making phone calls. Their father, who is a pilot, tells his wife the virus is spreading everywhere and she must evacuate with the children immediately. He shows them through video call that he is still wearing the lucky bracelet Abigail made for him, which makes her smile. Their mother quickly starts gathering supplies when suddenly they hear screaming outside. She rushes her two children out and they run toward their car. Just as they are about to get inside, a feral suddenly attacks the mother, tackling her to the ground. Terrified, young Abigail crawls under the car and watches in horror as the creature savagely attacks both her mother and younger brother. The feral doesn't notice the girl hiding and runs away. Abigail is trembling when she sees her mother's body begin twitching. Her mother has been infected and is transforming into one of those monsters. The infected mother turns toward where Abigail is hiding and starts crawling under the car. Just before she can reach the terrified child, a gunshot rings out and the mother drops dead. A man named Jack has saved Abigail's life by shooting her infected mother. Jack sees that Abigail's younger brother is also converting, so he tells Abigail to look away and covers her eyes before shooting the infected boy. Now the scene jumps forward 10 years and we see that human civilization has been completely destroyed by the zombie virus. The cities that once shined with lights have now become dark, deserted ruins. All humans have either died or are wandering as ferals, and only very few people remain alive. That little girl Abigail has now grown into a strong teenager. From that day forward, Abigail grew up under Jack's protection, and he trained her extensively to fight ferals. If Jack hadn't come into her life, Abigail would have died, which is why she considers Jack her father figure. After living alone in the wilderness for so many years, Abigail feels desperately lonely, and her biggest wish is to find a human settlement. One night, while camping in the forest, Jack's eyes open when he hears a suspicious sound. He comes out of his tent and sees a feral attacking him. Jack shoots the creature, killing it, and Abigail also reaches there. From their experience hunting ferals, Jack and Abigail understand that ferals travel in groups, which means there must be more nearby. They immediately mount their horses to escape. As they ride, their horses suddenly start panicking. Jack understands danger is approaching. When they look around, they spot a jeep being attacked by ferals where a person is desperately trying to save himself. There are very few living people left, so Jack and Abigail must save the survivor. Jack also wants to test Abigail's aim, so he tells her to save this man. Jack instructs her to aim calmly and then shoot, but Abigail fires in a hurry, which causes her bullet to hit both the feral and the survivor. Seeing this, Jack gets extremely angry at Abigail. They both approach the man and see he is dying, so Jack mercifully kills him to prevent transformation. After that, they begin taking supplies from the dead man's vehicle. Jack takes the dead man's boots, and as soon as he puts them on, the dead man's companions arrive and surround them with weapons. When these armed people see their dead friend, they become suspicious that Jack killed him to steal supplies. As these survivors prepare to execute them, a pregnant woman gets out and tells her companions to lower their weapons. At that exact moment, the horses give a warning signal and loud sounds start coming from the forest. Many ferals begin rushing toward them from all directions. These creatures move so fast that the survivors don't get a chance to run, so everyone takes out weapons to fight. The number of ferals was extremely high, so the creatures kill many people one by one. A strong man gets bitten and wants to shoot himself, but discovers his gun has run out of bullets. Abigail quickly gets in the car with the pregnant woman, whose name is Megan. Megan's husband David also gets in, and Jack starts the engine, speeding away. Now only 4 people remain alive. A large feral with black markings gets extremely angry seeing his companions dead. Meanwhile, these 4 survivors are traveling in the car. On the way, Jack asks the pregnant lady who they are. Megan explains their group was trying to reach a place called Shiptown, where people supposedly live safely with all necessary facilities. Hearing this, Abigail becomes very excited because this is exactly the kind of place she has always dreamed about. Jack responds skeptically, saying he has wandered this region for 10 years and has never seen any such colony. Suddenly, their car breaks down. David comes out and tells everyone he is a mechanic, but they lack proper tools. These people abandon the car and start walking. After traveling many kilometers, they reach a deserted residential area. The tall buildings are still standing, but there is an eerie silence. These survivors check this location, and when they don't sense danger, they decide to spend the night here. At nighttime, they cook food. Abigail was very eager to learn about Shiptown, so she starts talking to Megan. The pregnant woman tells her they have contacted the people living there through radio communication. Megan describes it as a beautiful place where survivors can live in freedom. Hearing this makes Abigail's eyes light up. Meanwhile, Jack sets up alarm traps around the perimeter. Jack comes inside and takes out a map telling everyone he will escort Megan and David partway, and then he and Abigail will go their separate ways. But Abigail is not happy and goes to argue with him, insisting that David will not be able to safely take his pregnant wife to that distant place. Jack says they need to act wisely because where there are more people, there is also greater danger. Abigail becomes upset, though neither knows that the black-faced feral has tracked them. The next morning, Abigail sits on the roof looking at childhood photos when suddenly she hears rustling sounds. She realizes ferals have entered and runs downstairs to warn everyone, but a feral is following her. Abigail starts climbing stairs and manages to push the pursuing feral down, causing it to fall. But this makes her lose balance, and she also starts falling shiptown when Jack arrives just in time to catch her. Shortly after, the black-faced feral reaches there with his companions, but he gets caught in Jack's trap, which triggers an explosion killing many ferals. Jack understands the feral group has found where they stayed and the creatures are still following them. Fortunately, these survivors had already left and moved forward. On the way, Abigail remembers there is a small airport where her father used to work and suggests maybe there are airplanes left which they could use to reach Shiptown. Jack objects, saying if they go to the airport, ferals could surround them, but after Abigail's repeated insistence, he reluctantly agrees. When they arrive at the airport, they don't see any aircraft, but when they reach a small hangar and open the door, they luckily find a small plane inside. Seeing this, everyone becomes extremely happy because now reaching Shiptown will be easy. However, this airplane hasn't been used for many years, so David says it needs repairs. While David fixes the airplane, Jack and Abigail start searching for supplies. Then David looks through binoculars and sees many ferals approaching who will reach the airplane very soon. He runs to warn everyone that they must start the plane immediately. Abigail quickly sits in the pilot's seat and reads the instruction books because her father was a pilot. Jack tries shooting the ferals to slow them down, and Abigail somehow manages to start the airplane engine. But it is already too late as many ferals reach the runway. Their speed is incredibly fast and one feral manages to grab onto the airplane door. Jack shoots the creature and Abigail gains control of the plane, successfully taking off. Everyone sitting in the airplane feels extremely happy knowing they will soon reach Shiptown. But this happiness is short-lived because smoke begins pouring from the engine. The aircraft hasn't flown in 10 years, so its engine fails and the plane starts going down. Jack skillfully crash lands the plane, and though they are hurt, their lives are saved. The plane is no longer usable, so they must continue walking. After traveling, they reach a deserted railway station as night falls. They check the area, and when they don't see ferals, they decide to spend the night there. They check their map, which shows they are now only 2 days away from Shiptown. Megan comes to Jack and thanks him, saying if he weren't there, they never would have made it. Hearing this, Jack starts feeling sympathy for Megan and tells her his tragic story about how 10 years ago he had to kill his own wife because she was infected. Since that day, the humanity inside him died, and now in this world, he only has Abigail, whom he will keep alive at any cost. Jack also tells Megan his intentions have changed, and he will now escort them all the way to Shiptown, which makes Megan very happy. Meanwhile, we see David holding a gun to his head, attempting to take his own life. The truth is, a feral had bitten his foot, but David hasn't transformed yet because the wound is very small, making the conversion extremely slow. David decides he will get his wife to Shiptown safely before dealing with his infection. The next morning, the four continue their journey, and along the way, Jack notices David's behavior has become strange. Jack realizes David is infected, so he takes him to an isolated spot. He lifts David's pants and sees a feral bite mark, confirming David is going to become a feral soon. Jack tells David to choose whether he wants to die now or be killed later. David promises he will not harm anyone, and if the situation becomes dangerous, he will kill himself, so Jack reluctantly lets him continue. As darkness falls, they spot a house ahead. Jack moves forward with his gun when suddenly a bright light shines, and they are told through a speaker to put down their weapons. They discover someone is living inside. Abigail steps forward, saying their purpose is not to harm anyone, they just need help. The man responds they can have food and shelter, but only if they leave all their weapons outside. After these people leave their weapons outside, the man brings them into his house. This man introduces himself as a scientist who lives alone. He serves them excellent food, which surprises everyone. After eating, the scientist also brings drinks for them. They were all feeling happy, but listening to the scientist's words, they begin feeling uncomfortable. The scientist says the virus that spread is terrible, but humans have also been upgraded through it. Weak humans died while powerful ones survived as ferals. He argues that ferals should rule the world. Hearing this makes all four survivors feel very uneasy. At that moment, David feels extremely sick and goes to the bathroom, where he sees in the mirror the virus is spread throughout his body. When David returns, he finds Jack and the others unconscious. The scientist had mixed a sedative into the alcohol. David attacks the scientist, but the scientist presses a button on a device. David suddenly feels weak and collapses. The scientist reveals he spent years creating this device, which allows him to control ferals who cannot harm him. This device can control ferals, meaning the scientist will become king of the entire world. After saying this, David loses consciousness. When David regains consciousness, he discovers he and his companions have been tied up, and the scientist is preparing to experiment on them. The scientist asks if they want to meet his wife and shows them his feral wife locked in a cage. When the scientist opens the cage door, his wife attacks him first, but he controls her with the device and directs her toward the captives. The feral wife attacks Jack, but he kicks her away. Then David uses the power the virus has given him to break his ropes and free the others. The scientist runs away, and the four survivors grab their belongings and escape. Luckily, they find the scientist's car outside and drive into the forest, but the scientist refuses to give up and uses his device to control an entire feral horde, making them pursue the survivors. Jack increases the car's speed, leaving the ferals behind, but soon the road ahead is blocked. They abandon the vehicle and continue on foot. After walking, the ferals catch up again. David realizes he doesn't have much time before fully transforming, so he tells the others to go ahead while he stays behind to hold off the ferals. David bravely fights the feral horde, stopping them while his companions escape, but eventually a feral kills David. Jack carries Megan, and they keep moving forward until finally these survivors reach the place where humans are living safely. Abigail starts screaming for help because many ferals are chasing them. Two guards on a tower spot them and begin shooting ferals with sniper rifles. A boat is quickly sent to rescue them, and the three survivors climb aboard, reaching Shiptown safely. The black-faced feral stops his companions from advancing because there is water ahead which they cannot cross. Meanwhile, Megan goes into labor and needs immediate medical treatment. Fortunately, this place has doctors and hospital facilities. The next morning, we see Shiptown has been built from multiple ships with water surrounding it. Jack tells Abigail they should leave, but Abigail has decided to stay because she is having so much fun being around people. They have an argument when a doctor arrives with news that Megan gave birth to a daughter, but may not survive due to severe blood loss. Hearing this, Jack becomes sad and rushes to the hospital room. Megan has grown very weak and wants Jack to raise her daughter just as he raised Abigail. Jack remembers his dead wife and agrees to keep Megan's baby daughter. Abigail is enjoying herself with a handsome boy, never imagining so many people could gather together drinking and dancing, which makes her more determined to stay. After a while, Abigail secretly follows the handsome boy into a cabin and discovers it is filled with wires and explosives. A wireless detonator switch hangs there, and when she touches it, the boy comes running explaining he planted bombs under Shiptown, so if this place is ever in danger, people can evacuate while blowing up the location. But neither realizes this day will come very soon. The scientist arrives with his control device and takes command of the black-faced feral leader. With the scientist's help, many ferals reach the ships from underwater, suddenly attacking people and killing many. Chaos erupts among the survivors. Jack discovers the ferals have attacked and starts worrying about Abigail, desperately searching for her while killing ferals. He finally finds Abigail, but then the scientist appears and punches her, knocking her down. Seeing this makes Jack furious, and he charges toward the scientist when a feral intercepts him, throwing Jack into a water tank. The scientist follows and wants revenge on Jack. He kicks Jack down, but Jack knows fighting the scientist directly is foolish, so he attacks the scientist and smashes the control device against a wall, breaking it. Without the device, the scientist no longer has power to control ferals and soon becomes a victim himself. Fortunately, this camp already had an escape route and many survivors reach safety. The handsome boy prepares to activate the bomb but hesitates because Abigail is still on the ship. Jack and Abigail start running toward the exit, but the feral leader catches Abigail from behind. Jack quickly hits the creature with a stick, knocking it backward. Suddenly, Abigail's eyes fall on a bracelet tied around the feral leader's wrist. It is the same bracelet she made for her father when she was a child. She realizes with horror that this feral is her father, who has become a monster. Jack tells her to grab his hand and forcefully pulls her away. The boy immediately presses the wireless detonator button and the entire ship explodes. However, their ordeal is not finished as the camp leader's neck has been bitten, and before the virus spreads, the black-faced feral attacks him. Surprisingly, the feral leader also survived the explosion. Jack immediately runs forward fighting the feral leader but is overpowered. Abigail picks up a gun from the ground, and even knowing the feral leader is her father, she shoots him without hesitation, because if she hadn't, the creature would have killed Jack, who raised her. After that, Jack and Abigail embrace each other, and now, along with the remaining survivors, they look toward a deserted island in the distant sea, deciding to establish a new human settlement there. If you like this video, please subscribe to our channel and like the video.